After less than 3 days of deliberations, the jury has come back with a verdict for Todd and Julie Chrisley's tax fraud case. How did they find the Chrisley Knows best stars? Guilty or innocent? After 3 years in limbo, Todd and Julie Chrisley finally had their day in court. After an indictment in 2019 on tax evasion charges, their trial started last month. Held in Atlanta, Georgia, the trial started on May 16, 2022. The couple denied the charges, entering a plea of not guilty. Todd Chrisley's mother, Nanny Faye, was called as a witness during the trial. The defense and prosecution rested after a weeks-long trial. The case went to the jury on Friday, June 3. On Tuesday, June 7, the jury came back with a verdict. Does their short deliberation mean good news or bad news for the Chrisleys? Forbes reports that Todd, Julie, and their accountant were indicted on 11 counts of tax evasion and bank fraud in 2019, and a superseding indictment came in 2022. How did the jury find? On June 7th, the jury came back with a verdict of guilty on all charges. Their attorney released a statement about the verdict. The couple is disappointed in the jury's decision. Forbes reports that Todd and Julie Chrisley face decades in prison after the guilty verdict. Us Weekly notes that per their lawyer's statement, they plan to appeal the decision. The USA Network that hosts Chrisley Knows Best seemingly stood by the family during their legal woes. Shortly before the trial began in May, the network revealed plans for Season 10 of the long-running reality show. Chrisley Knows Best returns with more episodes from Season 9 on Thursday, June 23. Season 10 will air later this year. The network has yet to react to the guilty verdict or share how it will affect the family's status with the network. Reality TV fans may recall that Bravo stars Teresa and Joe Judas spent time in prison after being found guilty of similar charges. The RHONJOG was sentenced to 15 months but served less than 12. Her husband served 3 years and was deported to Italy following his release from prison. Despite the scandalous charges, Bravo stood by Teresa and she returned to headline RHONJ after her prison stint. Will the same happen for Todd and Julie Chrisley? Only time will tell. Are you surprised by the verdict in the Chrisley trial? Share your reaction in the comments below. Jennifer Havener grew up in a small town in upstate New York. She earned her BA in Writing and Literature from Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado. She always knew watching reality TV shows and soap operas, particularly Days of Our Lives, would come in handy someday. When she's not writing, she's playing with her dogs, Lola, and Roger Chrisley trial update. Jury reaches verdict. The highly anticipated trial of Todd and Julie Chrisley, the reality TV stars known for their show, Chrisley Knows Best, has finally come to a close after weeks of intense courtroom drama. The couple, who were accused of tax evasion, bank fraud, and conspiracy, have been at the center of a legal battle that has captivated both fans and critics alike. On March 7, 2025, after days of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict, marking a critical moment in the ongoing saga of the Chrisley family. The case, which has sparked a nationwide conversation about wealth, celebrity, and the justice system, has left many wondering about the fate of the Chrisleys. While the trial initially seemed to be about financial mismanagement, it quickly grew to involve questions of personal responsibility, loyalty, and the lengths to which some will go to maintain an image of success. The background: a rising star and a sudden fall. Todd and Julie Chrisley had built an empire based on their outsized personalities, luxurious lifestyle, and reality TV fame. Their show, Chrisley Knows Best, premiered in 2014 on the USA Network and quickly became a fan favorite. With Todd playing the role of a flamboyant, controlling patriarch and Julie as the picture-perfect matriarch, the show painted a picture of a family living large in the southern United States. The Chrisleys were not just television stars, they were symbols of success. But behind the scenes, things were not as perfect as they seemed. In 2019, the Chrisleys were indicted on federal charges, including tax evasion, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud banks. Prosecutors accused the couple of using fake documents to obtain millions of dollars in loans and evading paying taxes on their vast earnings. The couple denied the allegations, claiming they were victims of a system that misunderstood their wealth and business practices. The case gained public attention not just because of the serious charges, but also because of the Chrisleys' media presence. The couple had spent years portraying an image of success and financial acumen, which seemed to directly conflict with the accusations they were facing. The trial quickly became a battle of perception, as prosecutors sought to prove that the Chrisleys were part of a broader conspiracy against them. The charges. A complex web of fraud. At the heart of the case were allegations that Todd and Julie Chrisley had engaged in a multi-year scheme to defraud banks, evade taxes, and hide millions of dollars in income. According to the prosecution, the couple provided false documents to secure loans from various banks, inflating their income and assets in order to obtain larger sums of money. Once they secured these loans, they allegedly used the funds for personal expenses, including luxury homes, vehicles, and extravagant vacations. In addition to bank fraud, the Chrisleys were accused of evading taxes on their income. Prosecutors claimed that the couple used an elaborate scheme to hide their earnings and avoid paying taxes on them. The indictment alleged that they had used a variety of methods, including diverting income through third-party accounts, to conceal their true financial picture. As part of the case, the government called multiple witnesses, including former employees, business associates, and financial experts, who testified about the Chrisleys' financial dealings. The defense countered with their own set of witnesses, including financial analysts who argued that the Chrisleys' business practices were legitimate and that any errors or omissions in their tax filings were unintentional. Throughout the trial, the Chrisleys maintained their innocence. They claimed that they had relied on professionals to handle their finances and that any mistakes or misstatements were the result of bad advice, not criminal intent. In fact, they argued, they were victims of their own success, targeted by the government because of their high-profile status. The trial. Courtroom drama and testimony. The trial began in early 2025, and it didn't take long for the drama to unfold in the courtroom. With cameras flashing and media attention surrounding every move, Todd and Julie Chrisley's every word and gesture were scrutinized. Their defense team worked hard to create doubt in the minds of the jury, focusing on the argument that the couple's financial issues were a result of mismanagement, not malfeasance. One of the key moments of the trial came when Todd Chrisley took the stand in his own defense. Known for his larger-than-life persona, Todd's testimony was both compelling and combative. He described himself as a hard-working businessman who had built his fortune through legitimate means. He also took the opportunity to criticize the government's case, accusing them of targeting him and his family due to their celebrity status. Julie Chrisley also testified, presenting herself as a loving mother and wife who had no knowledge of the financial misconduct alleged by prosecutors. She explained that she trusted Todd's business acumen and that any errors in their financial reporting were the result of mistakes made by their accountants and advisors. The prosecution, on the other hand, painted a very different picture. They presented a series of documents and financial records that appeared to show a pattern of deception and manipulation. They argued that the Chrisleys had intentionally inflated their income and concealed their assets to secure loans and evade taxes. The government also brought in expert witnesses who testified about the sophisticated nature of the fraud and how the Chrisleys had used multiple schemes to cover their tracks. Throughout the trial, emotions ran high, with both sides presenting their case in passionate terms. The defense team attacked the credibility of key witnesses, while the prosecution painted the Chrisleys as master manipulators who had used their public personas to deceive the authorities and the public. The jury deliberates. Tension builds after weeks of testimony. The case was handed over to the jury for deliberation. The jurors were tasked with deciding whether the Chrisleys were guilty of the multiple charges they faced. As the days passed, the tension in the courtroom was palpable. The jury's questions, which included requests for clarification of financial terms and documents, indicated that they were carefully considering the evidence presented. Todd and Julie Chrisley, who had sat through every day of the trial, now awaited their fate. The couple's defense team remained confident that the jury would acquit them, while the prosecution remained hopeful that the evidence would be enough to secure a conviction. Meanwhile, the media was in a frenzy, reporting daily on the trial's developments and speculating about the outcome. As the deliberations stretched into a second week, there was growing concern that the jury might be struggling to reach an unanimous decision. The longer the deliberations went on, the more the public's curiosity about the verdict grew. The verdict. A moment of truth on March 7, 2025. After nearly 2 weeks of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. The courtroom was packed with spectators, reporters, and the Chrisley family.